Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic Reviewer, and you're going to learn in this video how to take Methylene Blue. I'm a fairly experienced user, and I've also found some interesting and lesser talked about ways of using the compound, such as using it every other day, and also using Methylene Blue for those specific periods where you're experiencing a little bit more stress in your life. Most users of the compound are using the solution, which is a dropper, and you could mix it with water. I also have it in the powder form. I actually prefer using the powder form, but you have to be careful because it can create quite a mess. And there's quite a bit of concern around the potential side effect, but I think that people should realize that the dosage protocol also determines the severity of those side effects. And if you're unfamiliar with Methylene Blue, you should know that it is probably the most trending nootropic supplement right now for biohackers, for entrepreneurs. Users are using Methylene Blue to experience increased motivation, productivity, being in a better mood. And I was initially very skeptical about using Methylene Blue. I was encouraged by you viewers to use the compound for probably a couple of years until I decided to actually try the compound because of the many positive anecdotes you read about online. Let's face it, anything which can potentially make your urine blue, make your tongue blue, should be a little bit concerning. And I actually consider Methylene Blue to be like the stimulating form of ashwagandha. Like ashwagandha is known to improve your mood and fight off stress, and I feel that Methylene Blue is able to do that while actually boosting your productivity at the same time. Although the effects are very subtle, I'm somebody that's fortunately very sensitive to nootropic supplements, so I of course noticed the compound working. And I've elaborated more on the Methylene Blue benefits as well as the research in this video over here. And the way that I got started by using Methylene Blue was by using the powder form, and I used a serving size of 20 to 30 milligrams once per day, and I did that for about a month. And I think this is a good place to start for most people. If you're somebody that's very impatient with nootropic supplements, I would definitely not recommend you immediately get to a serving size of 100 milligrams plus, but I've actually tried higher serving sizes of Methylene Blue, and I didn't notice anything too interesting, or I didn't notice the effects were pronounced. It seems like Methylene Blue is a compound where less is actually better for most people, and then you don't have to be too concerned about the many side effects out there. Although I found pretty much no reason to increase my serving size over 50 milligrams a day. It seemed pointless and seemed like I was just going to run out of the product quicker. And unfortunately, if you look at the research as well as the many anecdotes online, you'll find that the dosage protocols are all over the place. People are taking different serving sizes. Some people are noticing better results with less Methylene Blue. This was a very interesting study because in theory, they found that Methylene Blue actually helped to eliminate fear to some extent with rats. So they decided to test this hypothesis and see whether or not Methylene Blue would help humans that experienced PTSD. So the study subjects were exposed to visualizations, like positive visualizations to help them with the PTSD, as well as either 260 milligrams of Methylene Blue or placebo. You guessed it, just like Methylene Blue worked with rats, it also worked with humans. They mentioned that their quality of life was actually better following the study as well. So with respect to the dosage protocol, I would say it really depends what you're using Methylene Blue for. Some people are using it for productivity, other individuals are using it to recover from some sort of sickness. So of course you want to start small, start with the lowest dose possible, make sure that you respond to the supplement okay. You'll see anecdotes of people actually using 5 milligrams and it feeling like it's enough for them. And while the higher serving sizes may not be too concerning because it's not as if you're going to ingest Methylene Blue and suddenly feel horrible, more so it's that if you use Methylene Blue at a higher serving size, you may be setting yourself up for messing up your serotonin system. And one of the things we know about Methylene Blue is that it increases levels of serotonin in the brain, and we don't want to have too much serotonin in the brain because that could lead to serotonin syndrome, and that has some of the most severe side effects imaginable. I've talked more about the side effects of Methylene Blue in this video over here. So when you're looking at the different serving sizes, it's more like, what's your risk tolerance? Like I personally wouldn't use over 100 milligrams of Methylene Blue every single day because again, of the risk of serotonin syndrome, and unfortunately because of the fact that we just don't know how safe this compound can be for us long term. Are you comfortable using a supplement that may turn your brain blue or your heart blue? Because that's what's shown in autopsies out there, and that's the reason why I rarely use Methylene Blue and I don't plan to use it too often. And I also feel that the compound is a little bit overrated. Like yes, it may boost mood, but it's not this intense euphoria you get from using something like caffeine or yohimbine. It feels a bit similar to 5-HTP in just that it's difficult to think negatively when you're using Methylene Blue. In this paper here, they mentioned that a dose of less than 2 milligrams per kilogram was fairly well tolerated. However, when levels exceed 7 milligrams per kilogram, that's when the side effects are likely to take place. And they mentioned that serotonin syndrome may be a risk if you're using Methylene Blue at a serving size that exceeds 5 milligrams per kg, along with combining it with another supplement that may increase serotonin levels. And there's many supplements out there that do increase serotonin levels, so I would definitely be cautious around using Methylene Blue with other nootropics nootropics, and some specific ones to avoid would be 5-HTP, St. John's wort, rhodiola rosea. And I came across this specific anecdote where one individual wasn't so smart. They actually took too much methylene blue. They took 250 milligrams, and while they were freaking out about it, wondering if they were going to be okay, it turned out they were absolutely fine. So like I mentioned, the immediate consequences may not be so bad. It's more about using methylene blue at a higher serving size, and the real concern is just how it may be harming your brain in the future. And is there any benefit of using methylene blue more than once a day? Probably not. Most individuals don't feel any sort of like acute reaction to using methylene blue. In pretty much all the studies, methylene blue was just used once a day. And when I use methylene blue, I'll take it once a day as well. I'll take it about an hour after waking up. I could take it before bed. Like, I don't find it too stimulating myself, but I just don't really see the need to. I'd rather just take it first thing in the morning when I take the rest of my supplements. And also, I think that taking it several times throughout the day is very inconvenient. The compound makes your tongue blue. Some users use methylene blue along with vitamin C to offset the potential staining of their tongue, but you can't escape the blue urine, unfortunately. And I personally don't mind the blue urine. Like, at least it's a sign that the compound's working, and I experience it at a smaller serving size as well. And this is definitely a supplement that you want to take time off of. You don't want to be on methylene blue 365 days of the year. So a good practice of using methylene blue is taking it 1 month on, followed by 1 month off. If you're somebody that prefers using it every other day, I also think that that can be a good practice. Like, the way that I would use methylene blue if I were to use the compound is actually use it on days when I'm taking less stimulants. As per this post on Reddit, somebody had mentioned that they no longer feel the urge for coffee or other stimulants when they're using methylene blue, and I personally don't feel that methylene blue is that strong for it to have those kind of effects, although it seems like a good supplement to take when you're not taking other stimulants, or if you're giving yourself like a rest from caffeine and you just need some sort of pick-me-up, then methylene blue may be a good idea to use. And then another interesting protocol that I think more users should be implementing with methylene blue is by using methylene blue on weekdays and then taking the weekends off and then repeating it in that fashion. And that way you'll be able to use the compound, like, I think longer than a month, maybe 2 to 3 months, taking a month off to reset your tolerance and then using it again. Although if you're using methylene blue for some of the benefits outside of productivity and outside of mood, for example, using methylene blue to relieve pain, we have some research showing it may do that, or using methylene blue to improve your skin health and helping you with collagen production, then using methylene blue at a serving size like I'd mentioned and doing that every single day would be more appropriate versus using it every other day or microcycling it in a fashion of weekdays on, weekends off. I'd love to know how you feel about methylene blue. I'd love to see your comment below. Do subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me on Patreon, and be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room. We're having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your interest in nootropics and look forward to seeing you next time.